Welcome, fellow comrades of humanity. I'm back for another 10 questions of the Holy Bible. Let's get to it. Question 1, Deuteronomy 12:4-7. So, am I to believe that their worship of their God, which is alluded to be their God as well, the God of Moses, so it's just the way they worship the gods that is wrong? And any of these are worth destroying, all of them utterly and wholly? And all their worship articles, and everything, and taking everything they own? Is this a just God? Am I to hold to? It doesn't feel like it to me. It feels more like a murderer and taker of lands. Question 2, Deuteronomy 12:8-11. Why would this need to be said? Why are they going to change their ways of worship? I mean, this is easy for me to understand. Moses, or the title of Moses, is being killed off. Therefore, they will change their ways of worship due to this alone. And the fact that God has literally disappeared means that, of course, that the way of worship will change. They don't have their mouthpiece Moses. Question 3, Deuteronomy 12:17-19. So literally the Levites are now fully reliant on the people around them. The church is set up to be fully reliant on the other tribes. This may seem like the Levites are at a disadvantage, but if you look again, you see, because of the way the worship is to be demonstrated, the people feel the Levites are essential to their survival. So giving tithes to the Levites is essential to them, giving them all the power through God. Is this a wrong way to do things, or a right way to do things? How closely does the church still resemble this very action today? Question 4, Deuteronomy 12:29-31. So in this passage, it is again alluded to that God is being worshipped by other people, but in the wrong way. Is the only real difference between their worship and the worship of Moses' people's God is the spilling of animal blood and not sacrificing children through a burning ritual? Are these the only differences? If so, then God's people, original people, the Canaanites and all of them, were taught the wrong way to worship by their own God, which seems to be the God of Moses as well. So, I don't know. Question 5, Deuteronomy 13:1-18. So even though they've been told repeated times and have been so delivered by the Lord, they still need this to remember God. So far he has led them to slaughtering enemies, and he's going to use slaughter to keep his word after destroying all their gods' idols, because God, who is ever so present, can wipe them out at any second, now need them to uphold his laws, by killing in his name, for his name, because of his name. The fact they need to be told this is the most showing of how unstable this people is. Question 6, Deuteronomy 14:11-18. Griffin? Again? Really? I can't unsee this, and bats being named with birds. These are things one cannot unsee. How much of science does one have to throw out to believe this text fully, to believe it infallible? One griffin skeleton would literally make me a believer at the moment, but there is no such thing. Question 7, Deuteronomy 14:21. Again with the goat and the mother's milk. Were people really doing this? I haven't seen it in history or any other writings. Why is there such an abstract rule? The rest of the passage makes sense through 21, but this last line sticks out like a sore thumb, and the mark of the human touch on the book. Question 8, Deuteronomy 14:25-27. The Levites are essentially given payment to keep sanctuary. They are there to make sure there is a safe house and a place to learn these writings. They are the guarantee and the wealth hoarders of the nation, enforcing the rule by teaching it in place of other worshipping. It's not really a question, I guess, but if I'm wrong, I guess. Question 9, Deuteronomy 15, 1-3. This is definitely a way to make sure the Levites could sustain wealth and accumulate it. This is definitely a great guide on how to start a nation to become wealthy. Wealthy in its religion, putting faith to the coin and not to the God. There is no other way for me to see this. Am I wrong in doing so, and why? Question 10, Deuteronomy 15, 7-11. In these passages it states that there may be Israelites who aren't among them now. Say they are going to convert people? I go back and I think this through. As I reread, I see that this is most likely that Exodus and Leviticus were a way to sell the story, and yet no one was killed because Moses just brought this form of government from Egypt to here, and changed the Pharaoh part, his title of Moses, to the churches who all tied into one God. This reflection back on the text and the lack of the Exodus movement in history or any knowledge of it anywhere leads me to believe that Moses had more likely taken the form of government that the Egyptians had in having many gods but a God on earth, and making it many churches without a God on earth, therefore putting God's word, or the word, above anything else. It could be a smart move, and it definitely would have been a smart move in the time. And I like this idea the more and more I think about it. Well, that's it for this episode that nobody watches. Remember, family is most important. Our family seems very scared at the moment. The family of the world. I fear for my family for the same reasons. Let's save our family and be safe.